What's up, y'all? Show some most that's most Crispy. Welcome back in the video. RoboCats. Why the Club Penguin died twice? What is going on with this? Last time I think we watched him, it was rabbits. It was the rabbits and all that other stuff.
In the early
So yeah.
2000s, a wave of social MMOs
So
swept
yeah.
across the
Hold
internet,
on, hold on, hold
redefining
on.
digital childhood for an
Hold on.
entire generation. Neopets, Toontown, Habbo.
Hold on, dude. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We is on the road to 500. And if you're new, tell a friend to a family that your boy Crispy is on his way. Let's get it.
In the early 2000s, a wave of social MMOs swept across the internet, redefining digital childhood for an entire generation. Neopets, Toontown, Habbo Hotel, and Animal Jam, all staples of every 90s and 2000s kids' virtual playground, gathered a staggering 598 million registered users combined. Yet, among these digital worlds, one stood out, or rather waddled above the rest: Club Penguin. What started as a quirky penguin-filled chat game exploded into a massive phenomenon, rapidly capturing the imaginations of millions of kids and teens around the world. Its meteoric
Bro, I
rise
used
was
to watch my older cousin play Club Penguin on here, bro. It looked like it was like that that game. What's that game called? It was like some people like you could create your character, you go join in worlds and stuff like that. It's just like Club Penguin, but it start with a P. It start with a P. If somebody know what I'm talking about, I used to play it all through school and out of school during the summertime, bro.
so undeniable that Disney snapped it up for a jaw-dropping $350 million, betting big on its continued success. But as many of us learned the hard way, even the most beloved virtual worlds aren't invincible. As corporate interests took over, Club Penguin slowly became an advertising vehicle for Disney's other projects, resulting in the game slowly losing its charm and eventually being closed down altogether in 2017.
Dang.
What happened, and how did this little penguin-themed social game become a massive success and a symbol of corporate greed all in a 10-year period? This is the story of how Club Penguin died twice, because there are some new updates to this story and you'll want to stick around to the end to see what's changed. But for now, let's start at the beginning. Before Club Penguin, there was a void in the early internet. Few places allowed kids to chat, play, and express themselves in a safe environment without the mature topics often found in other online chat rooms and virtual hangout spots.
What this is?
That began to change in the year 2000 when Canadian developer Lance Priebe introduced something called Experimental Penguins, a simple penguin-themed virtual chat room inspired by a Far Side cartoon. In this experience, players could waddle around as a cartoon penguin, chat in real time, and experience a welcoming, playful community, all within a space designed for safety and friendliness. Though Experimental Penguins was short-lived and basic, lacking features beyond chatting and movement, its core promise sparked new ideas. So, later that same year, Priebe launched Penguin Chat, expanding the world with unique rooms to explore, basic avatar customizations, and animated actions like sitting or dancing, laying the groundwork for expressive interactive play and turning the simple chat room premise into a full-on web browser game. Then, in 2003, Penguin Chat got some updates and raised the bar with bigger, more colorful environments, added customization options, and simple minigames like Ballistic Biscuit, the forerunner of Club Penguin's beloved Hydro Hopper, a game that I spent way too much time in as a kid. With each iteration of Penguin Chat, Lance continued to focus on chat moderation and user safety, ensuring that these early Penguin worlds provided not only fun, but also a safe space for young players. These bold, evolving experiments directly shaped Lance's perception of what kids on the internet needed, and he wanted to take it to the next level and turn it into something more serious. So, while tinkering on these prototypes under his company called Rocket Snail Games, Priebe teamed up with Lane Merrifield and Dave Crisco, the founders of a small media company called New Horizon, and together they aimed to turn the Penguin Chat experiment into a more developed, safer, fully realized online world for kids.
Okay.
They wanted something truly moderated and ad-free, giving
Mind you,
children a
I think this
welcoming-
was before even Roblox was thought of. Club Penguin. If Club Penguin never died, bro, Roblox would have competitions right now. Let's say that. Let's say that right now. If such and such Club Penguin and that other site that I'm talking about that start with a P set is like, it was like pop something. It was like pop something. It was actually a good thing, bro. Never died, bro. It
creative
was
place
actually
to
been good.
socialize, experiment, and grow. So they got to work on something new, something much bigger in 2004. Progress on this new game was quick, with the trio, now partnered under a company called New Horizon Interactive, drawing on lessons learned from the chat experiments to build a virtual world that kids would grow to love. The project required all three of the new developers to invest their own savings and even take out personal lines of credit to get it off the ground. But it was born out of a place of passion, and people were able to tell. Club Penguin entered its highly anticipated public beta on August 22, 2005, which resulted in an impressive 15,000 players coming into the Club Penguin servers during this period. Much of the early attention came by word of mouth in niche internet forums, gaming communities, and the existing player base from Penguin Chat, who were invited to see what the next step looked like. People absolutely loved it, and as the game fully launched on October 24th, 2005, there was a dedicated community of players who called this new game home. It was cool, but nobody could have ever predicted that Club Penguin would eventually become a $300 million powerhouse of a brand with spin-offs, books, and TV shows in just a few years.
Wow.
But we'll get back to that in a second. First, a word from our sponsor, Boot.dev. Lance Priebe and his
you thought you were about to get me with that sponsor. Shout out to the sponsor, though. You can sponsor your boy if you later down the line. But you thought you were about to get me with this one.
Let's get back to the story. It's time to ask the question, why was Club Penguin so successful right from the start? I mean, let's be real. It's a chat room where you can waddle around dressed up as a penguin and play some mini games. Was it really that revolutionary? The short answer is yes, it was. When I think back to why Club Penguin hooked me as a kid, it wasn't just about the minigames or the cool igloo that I could build. It was about feeling free in a world that was made for me and my friends. I was able to convince my mom to pay a whopping $6 per month for this place, so it had to mean something. Sure, I spent hours and hours playing Hydro Hopper, in that game where you try to stack up the coffee beans to earn coins and upgrade my igloo so that I can impress my online penguin girlfriend. But there was so much more to this game.
Oh, wow. That's crazy, saying. You just don't never be knowing, saying, like, especially Roblox, saying, you'll be saying that's your girlfriend. Whole time, that might be a dude, son. Hey, bro, to this day, son, I be making fun of my brother about that, saying. Now, when he was young, said, me and my twin brother used to make fun of him. Said, you said that's your girlfriend? You don't even know that's your girlfriend. That could be a whole grown man.
Then meets the eye. The world was chock full of character and charm, but most importantly, variety. My issue with a lot of other online social games back in the early 2000s was that most of them felt the same around every corner. One room
Hold
was
on,
the
this
same
low-key look like a vibe. Hold on. What this game called?
the next with a fresh coat of paint. But the world in Club Penguin felt alive and interesting with Easter eggs and cool different vibes around every corner. You could be a trendy snob and hang out in the coffee shop, or you could be edgy and hang out in the mines. You could flex on fellow 9-year-olds by trying to beat them in the sled races, or you could make new friends hopping around igloos and having igloo parties. It felt like freedom in an internet that wasn't really designed for kids, and everyone loved it. There were so many different minigames like sled racing, ice fishing, bean counters, and the minecart game. You could chat with strangers, join community events and challenges, complete dozens of random Easter eggs like allegedly flipping the iceberg, and so much more. In short, Club Penguin was awesome.
Oh, wow.
But not only that, it was also safe for kids like me. The game had over 200 full-time moderators patrolling the servers for bad actors. There were intense chat filters to make sure nothing bad was happening. There were solid parental controls and no ads, no sponsorships, and no garbage. The game supported itself through that monthly membership that I mentioned a minute ago, and because of this, it was able to stay true to its roots and not become overrun with microtransactions or gambling or other questionable monetization methods that you see in many modern kids games today. By 2007, Club Penguin ballooned from 1.4 million accounts to over 30 million, all on word of mouth, and with almost no traditional advertising. It was now one of the world's most thriving children's social platforms, and it quickly took the internet by storm, captivating millions of kids around the world with regular updates, cool new content, and
Nah, I would have probably made some like Xbox friends. I ain't lying to you, son. If this came out like right now, son, and this like got a reboot, son, I would have made Xbox friends. I probably would have played with y'all subscribers. Play with my subscribers. They can ask me questions, I ask them questions. We talk, chat. Might get on Fortnite after that. Who knows?
Endless charm. So of course, everyone's favorite villain came into the picture. Club Penguin's explosive growth grabbed the attention of Disney, who in August of 2007 purchased both the studio behind the project and all of the Club Penguin intellectual property for an eye-watering $350 million in cash,
Oh, wow,
with
wow,
a further
Disney, come on now.
$350 million possible if growth goals were met. At the time of the acquisition, Club Penguin claimed around 12 million user accounts, with over 700,000 paid subscribers and $40 million in annual revenue, projected to double within 2 years. So it was by no means a small company or a casual little online world experiment anymore, but it still didn't have the corporate feel of a typical Disney project. But of course, we all know that would eventually change. Disney started by doing what Disney does best: expanding operations, pumping out content, and launching a formidable merchandising campaign. New Club Penguin offices were quickly established in England, Brazil, and Argentina, and the game itself was turned into a global franchise. The Disney era saw Club Penguin spawn Nintendo DS and Wii games, branded toys and plushies, books, and even a television special. There was a huge push to market the game through Disney Channel commercials and through cross-promotions with other Disney properties.
I saw all of this too while y'all playing.
Including in-game events for Frozen, Star Wars, Marvel, and Zootopia. This new reach and visibility triggered explosive growth.
They got that far to Zootopia? Nah, that's crazy.
Within months of Disney's acquisition, Club Penguin's user base soared past 30 million accounts, and by 2013, the game boasted over 200 million registered users, a staggering increase of roughly 1,000% since the buyout. Disney's marketing muscle and global infrastructure were instrumental in making Club Penguin a household name around the world. But the corporate expansion came with a price. Whereas Club Penguin had once thrived on a balance of accessible free play and perks for paid members, Disney's monetization goals led to increasingly nickel and dime tactics.
No, son, ain't no way. Nah, Disney is so greedy. So bro, hold on.
Disney's monetization.
So you telling me I have to grind my butt off to get this 400 for the helmet, 550 for the whole bodysuit, and 300 for the shield? Nah, bro. No, bro. That was some scamming stuff.
Rose by about a third in 2011, while more game features, clothing items, and pets that were once available to everyone became locked behind a paywall. While these changes helped Club Penguin reach its financial peak around 2013, they gradually killed the spirit that had once defined the game and made my mom stop paying for my monthly membership. Curse you and your constant price-raising, Disney. Throughout this time, Club Penguin had transitioned to become a more polished, branded product rather than a small, quirky online world. Disney's obsessive urge for cross-promotion led to an endless array of branded parties and events themed around their own films, taking away the unique world and stories that Club Penguin had built. The magic and charm that brought fans together began to give way to branded content and relentless upselling. Longtime players became frustrated as the game's pay-to-play culture took root, and the community started to fragment. After Disney's initial expansion, the company started cutting back. They closed support centers outside of North America and laid off staff in Canada and other countries. Disney also began phasing out secondary games and non-US servers, removing features that had once attracted players from around the world. In 2015, Disney shut down the German and Russian versions of Club Penguin and canceled noticed a stagnation in content. Monthly parties became more formulaic, with an increasing emphasis on these movie tie-ins and paid-only features. People got increasingly frustrated, player counts declined, profit decreased, and Disney had shareholders to please. So on January 30th, 2017, Disney had officially, out of nowhere, announced that Club Penguin would be shutting down on March 29th to make way for Club Penguin Island, new, mobile-focused, microtransaction-heavy successor. There would be one final farewell event, the Waddle On Party, to commemorate 11 years of the beautiful Club Penguin experience.
Dang.
The highlight of the party was the tipping of the iceberg, something that people had been trying to do for over a decade in the game, and as the iceberg slowly flipped over and became a dance floor, there was a commemorative plaque that read, "Together, we can build an island, create a community, change the world, and even tip an iceberg." As the final moments of Club Penguin unfolded, players said their goodbyes and the servers finally shut down on March 29th, 2017, and displayed the message, "The connection has been lost. Thank you for playing Club Penguin. Waddle on." Club Penguin, as everyone had known it, was officially gone, killed by corporate greed and maximum value extraction by Disney. But the story didn't end with Club Penguin shut down, because almost immediately, Disney tried to keep the brand alive with a successor called Club Penguin Island. Promising a bold new 3D adventure for a new generation of players, Club Penguin Island became a textbook example of how to fumble a legacy. At launch, the game was riddled with issues.
They should have never touched that, son. You know, like that stuff like that, you should have just left it alone, bruh. Just let it be, bruh. Wow, bruh. No, like, I ain't gonna hold you, son. Bro, imagine, like, Club Penguin was still irrelevant to this day, bro. You know how many people would be streaming this? Low-key, this would low-key be a vibe. No. Talking to fans in Club Penguin, that would have been the vibe.
Features like igloos, puffles, and fan-favorite minigames were missing. Nearly every meaningful interaction was... See, even my dog doesn't like Club Penguin Island. Nearly every meaningful interaction was locked behind a steep subscription, leaving free players with little to do, and to make matters worse, all your old gear and progress were left behind. The initial focus on mobile over desktop alienated longtime players, and the rushed, unfinished feeling at launch left many wondering why they should bother at all. Negative reviews and backlash from the community hit hard. Disney tried to patch things up in later updates, but the damage was done. Club Penguin Island never recaptured the spirit or success of the original. Less than 2 years after its debut, Disney quietly pulled the plug, shuttering Club Penguin Island and closing the book on the history of Club Penguin as we know it.
Damn.
But longtime fans wouldn't give up so easily. And here's where the story gets a little more complicated.
Okay.
Almost immediately, a determined community of fans sprang into action, launching a wave of private servers using archived SWF files salvaged from the original game. The most prominent among these was Club Penguin Rewritten, a faithful recreation that sought to offer players the classic Penguin experience, this time with all the content once locked behind a paywall made available for free. These private servers quickly became digital sanctuaries for nostalgic teens and 20-somethings like me who had grown up playing the original Club Penguin. What set these fan-run servers apart wasn't just their accessibility, but how they evolved into vibrant community hubs in their own right. Club Penguin Rewritten and its competitors threw both classic and original parties, developed homegrown moderation teams, and provided spaces where players could relive fond memories or create new ones. The creativity didn't stop there. Virtual concerts, speedrunning competitions, and bespoke online events emerged, proving that Club Penguin was more than just a dead Disney game. It was still a living, breathing community. Especially during the pandemic, these servers offered a lifeline. Isolated fans found connection and comfort in revisiting their favorite childhood games, and traffic soared, with the largest private servers reporting tens of thousands of new signups and millions of unique users flocking back to the world they once loved.
Oh, wow.
But this newfound popularity also brought challenges. Club Penguin Rewritten, in particular, saw several high-profile data leaks exposing millions of user accounts and rattling the sense of safety that had always been core to Club Penguin's appeal.
Dang.
They also struggled to keep the servers up and running with the increased demand and had no way to financially support themselves, as if they did, Disney would 100% find a way to send them a cease and desist.
Yep. Season that freaking assist, have people come knocking on your door. Hey, you was one of the dudes that made Club Penguin, huh? We need you to come on investigation. Well, I kick down your door.
And sue them to oblivion for stealing their IP.
Facts.
So they fought on to keep this passion project alive, and then Disney decided to screw them over anyways, flexing their legal muscle and issuing takedown notices in escalating waves. The crackdown reached its climax in April of 2022 when authorities staged a police raid and abruptly forced Club Penguin rewritten offline, resulting in the arrest of 3 staff members on suspicion of copyright infringement.
Oh, wow.
There was another issue with a fan server called Club Penguin Online, and this one was much more dark. Without the same level of robust moderation and safety measures that defined the original Club Penguin Online quickly turned into a Wild West. Content filters were disabled, and chat rooms became overrun with offensive, racist, and inappropriate messages. It didn't stop there, though. Journalists uncovered deeply troubling allegations of predatory behavior, abuse of power, and criminal misconduct among the site's administrators, culminating in accusations of child exploitation. The situation grew so dire that Disney sent a full DMCA takedown. In 2020, after an explosive BBC investigation and mounting public outrage, Club Penguin Online was completely and permanently shut down, and its owner was arrested on criminal charges. After both of these situations, in 2020, Disney sent takedown requests to any and all remaining Club Penguin private servers, trying to seal the entire situation off. But fans of this game were resilient, and every time a server was taken down, another seemed to spring up in its place, sometimes just as quickly as the last one vanished. Copyright battles drove the community deeper underground, but for so many fans around the world, Club Penguin's spirit simply refused to die. The fight for Club Penguin's legacy was no longer about just nostalgia, it was about the right to preserve a cherished corner of the internet that was shut down by a corporation that wasn't reaching its profit target. And that's where the story stands today. There are some fan servers still up and running, but Club Penguin as we know it has been dead for a long time, killed by the same corporate greed that ruined Toontown, Pirates Online, and many other Disney MMOs that we all played as kids. Did you ever play Club Penguin? Were you sad when it shut down?
Man, that's crazy, bro. Disney always be trying to ruin a lot of things, bro. But hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow our social media pop up on screen. We're on our road to 500, and I'm out.